Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Microbial Life WIM. My name is Abhijit Haldar. As you all know, in this video series we are discussing about some important topics of general microbiology. So today's topic is gram-negative rods. Let's start with introduction. Gram-negative bacteria cause infection including pneumonia, bloodstream infections, wound or surgical site infections, and meningitis in healthcare setting. In gram-negative bacteria, they are resistant to multiple drugs, are increasingly resistant to most available antibiotics. Gram-negative infection include those caused by Pseudomonas species or E. coli, etc., as well as many other less common bacteria. Now talk about E. coli. In E. coli, in this type of bacteria normally lives in our intestines. It also found in the gut of some animals. Most type of E. coli are harmless and even help to keep our digestive tract healthy, but some strain can cause diarrhea if you eat contaminated food or drink foul water. Now, what are the symptoms of E. coli? One specially bad strain, it's OI57-H7, can make this is, let me write it, O157-H7. This type of bad strain E. coli make you very sick. It causes abdominal cramps, vomiting, and bloody diarrhea. It is leading cause of acute kidney failure in children. It can also cause life-threatening symptoms such as adult kidney failure, fever, bleeding, confusion, seizures. You should get emergency help if you have any of these symptoms. Causes of E. coli. Unlike many other disease-causing bacteria, E. coli can cause an infection even if you ingest only small amounts. Because of this, you can be sickened by E. coli from eating a slightly undercooked hamburger or from swallowing a mouthful of contaminated pool water. Potential source of exposure including contaminated food or water and person-to-person contact. Now, what are the virulence factor of E. coli? E. coli have many virulence associated factors including addicins, toxins, iron, acquisitions factor, lipopolysaccharides, polysaccharide capsules, and invasions, which are usually encoded and pathogenicity islands, plasmid, and other mobile genetic elements. Now talk about the pathogenicity. Potential pathogenic bacteria are ingested by cattle and other ruminants and colonize intestinal tract. It is the pathogenesis life cycle of E. coli. As you seen the ingestion of pathogenic E. coli in the first point, what I had already told, and colonize the intestinal tract but don't cause any disease in this animal. The bacteria are excreted in the feces and contaminated the environment, including the drinking and swimming water of human populations. In the second point, there are many also contaminated foods such as fruits, vegetables, sprouts, lettuce, and raw milk and juice. Fetal excretion, contamination of water. Now in third and fourth and fifth point, contamination of food transmissions animals to person or transmission of person to person. So they are contaminated of the carcass at slaughter, and bacteria will be mixed in the ground beef. Person in direct contact with animals who are walking on farms or in slaughterhouse may also get contaminated by the bacteria. There are also spread of bacteria from person to person. In human, these bacteria colonize mostly the large intestine and cause similar attaching and effacing lesion to those described for AEC. Now in 6 point, what we are seeing, the colonization of the large intestine, intimate attachment of epithelial cell. It means that bacteria produce their own specific receptor which is injected into the host epithelial cell via a syringe like bacterial apparatus. A bacterial adhesion then mediates a very intimate attachment of the bacteria to the cell receptor, and bacterial signals stimulate effacement of the microvilli or brass border and reorganization of the cell cytoskeleton. The adherent bacteria produce a toxin which is transported across the epithelial cell to the circulation. Okay, this is the adherent E. coli, this is adhesin, this is receptor, this is toxin. This is the epithelial cell and blood vessels. Now in the third point, transport of toxin to circulation. The toxin acts on the endothelial cell of the blood vessel, resulting in non-bloody to bloody diarrhea and abdominal cramps. In the third point, as we see, the bloody diarrhea and kidney failure. It means that there may be a complication of hemolytic uremic syndrome which may lead to acute kidney failure, especially in children. Now talk about the diagnostic. To diagnose illness caused by E. coli infections, our doctors send a sample of your stool to a clinical laboratory to test for the presence of E. coli bacteria. That bacteria may be cultured to confirm the diagnostic and identify specific toxin such as those produced by E. coli OI57:87. Now what are the treatment? For illness caused by E. coli, no current treatment can cure infection, relieve symptom or prevent complications. For most people, treatment includes rest, fluids to be help prevent dehydration or fatigue, avoid taking an antidiarrheal medications. This slows your digestive system down, preventing your body from getting rid to the toxin. Antibiotics generally are not recommended because they can increase the risk of serious complication and they don't appear to help to treat the infections. I hope you understand this video. So if you like this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and share it to your fellow friends. If you wish, you can join to our WhatsApp and Telegram group for latest informations and notes and any other problem related to your field. And if you wish, you can follow our personal profile also. Thank you.